What's going on, guys? I'd like to welcome you to a very special episode of the Hustle Talk podcast. And today's episode, we're going to be talking athlete nutrition. Now, there are many topics that affect an athlete's performance on the field and in the classroom, but one of the most important yet overlooked aspects of an athlete's performance is nutrition and hydration. What you put into your body is just as, if not more important than any training program or exercise that we can give you. If you want to get faster, stronger, move better, have more confidence, and you have to start concentrating on the fuel you use to power the machine. And your machine is your body, okay? And the real key to success is balancing a great training program and proper nutrition. And in today's episode, you're gonna find multiple tips, tricks, advice, and guidelines that we give you to help get you started on the right path to healthier eating. Now look, we get it. You're super busy, you have games, tournaments, practices, early mornings, late nights, homework, friends, oh yeah, and that thing we call school. You've got a lot on your plate as a student athlete, and it may seem like a juggling act, but through it all, you need to find a way to prioritize your nutrition, and that's why we're here today. And what a better way to do this than to have Hustle's very own nutrition coach. We got Coach Dominick in the house today, and we have our Director of Athlete Performance, Coach Jonathan, along here for the ride as well. Now, what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing well. So let's talk nutrition for athletes. Now, let's stick to the basics. What is a macro?
So I think when it comes down to macros, just to simplify things, like it's the big pieces of what we're eating. So if we go a little bit further, it's going to be like the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fats inside of a plate. And then just to get more specific, if we were to actually build out a plate or put what's on a plate, you have protein, steak or chicken breast, carbohydrates, pasta, rice, potatoes, and then fats, seeds, nuts, seeds, oils, avocados, things of that nature.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Good. Now let's talk about macro. That's macro. So now what is there's three different types of, what is a protein, what is a carb, what is a fat. Now let's talk protein to start. What is a protein?
Again, so protein is going to be, when it comes down to like food choices, right? Protein is going to be meats, fish, eggs, yogurt, the things that are actually going to be helping us build or repair muscle when we break it down during training, during practice. Carbohydrates, again, food choices, pasta, potatoes, rice, not nuts, grains, stuff like that. Fruit, vegetables, those are going to be big ones and very important for athletes. And then fat is also going to be nuts, seeds, oils, butters. Again, fatty fish would fall into that category.
Okay. Yeah. Proteins and carbs are probably the two most important macros when it comes to athlete performance.
Yep.
But a very underrated one is the fat. Don't think you have to neglect fat. Fat's a very important part of our diet as well. Just want to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So now, how many, as an athlete, you're currently on the go. How could you use, protein, carbs, and fats to how many grams of protein do you need per day? How many grams of carbs do you need a day? How many grams of fats do you need a day? How could you judge that?
It ranges. Again, like for simplicity's sake, I would say 1 gram per pound of body weight is a really good place to start, especially for, like teen or high school, even collegiate athletes. But if we're just oversimplifying things, having a couple palm sizes of protein at each plate, right? So maybe you have 4 to 6 palm sizes of protein per day, which would come around close to 1 gram per pound of your body weight. And then again, for carbohydrates, just simplifying things, cupped hands. So you just take your hands, you cup it, right? 2 of those at each plate. It's pretty much going to get you close to, if not surpass, what you need to fuel activity and intensity of the workout or the training session.
Yeah, I think that's an easy way to keep it simple, especially for kids and athletes that don't know how to measure, don't know how to weigh, or might not have a scale. Using a palm is just an easy way to get a good accurate measurement instead of throwing things on a scale.
They're always with you too, right? So it's like if you look at Anthony's hand size, Jonathan's hand size versus mine, like maybe they're close, maybe they're different, but it's personal to you. Like it's going to fit your body, so it's going to be pretty much spot on, which is great.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a great. That's something great to use. That's a great tool that an athlete could use. That's with them and helps with portions and understanding how much they need to eat per meal. Now, talk to me about vegetables and fruits and vegetables. Are they important? Do an athlete do they need them? Talk to me more about those.
I'm right. They're important.
Super important. Yeah, super important. Micronutrients, right? Vitamins, minerals. The things that are going to fill the gaps, right? So the macros, obviously the protein, carbs, fats. Those are the big pieces. But the micros, the veggies, the fruits, those are what's going to keep us healthy. They're going to keep us in the game. It's going to improve recovery, which is going to improve performance.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. Now, moving on, we're going to talk breakfast. Breakfast. Now, at Hustle, we put a huge emphasis on eating a quality breakfast as an athlete. We ask our athletes daily, what did you have for breakfast? And we can get a good idea on how the athlete's going to perform, focused, and feel just based simply on their breakfast choice as an athlete, okay? Now, what you have for breakfast will set you up for the rest of your day. And if you want more energy throughout the day, a simple fix, also if you want more energy on the field, a simple fix is just to eat breakfast. So now let's talk breakfast. What should athletes have for breakfast?
McGriddles from McDonald's.
McGriddle,
I'm kidding.
McMuffins.
Honestly, like when it comes to athletes or, youth athletes especially, we want to make sure that everything is balanced, right? So having protein, having carbohydrates, having some good quality fats in there. Just to list a few examples, like overnight oats with some protein in there, protein powder, with some nut butters or chia seeds, stuff along those lines. Eggs, can't go wrong with eggs, some good toast and fruit, maybe a couple pieces of fruit. Heck, a tuna sandwich if you're someone who doesn't like breakfast. There's people out there that don't like breakfast. Tuna sandwich, grab some fruit, grab a handful of nuts, and you're good to go. I think when it comes to athletes, especially like younger athletes, high school athletes, good fast options are always going to be the best bet, right? So whatever is going to take the least amount of prep time, but also keep us on track is probably going to be pretty safe for you.
Yeah, and keeping it simple is probably the most important thing. Grabbing something that's easy to go, you can just grab it before you leave the house, before you head to school or practice early in the morning.
For sure.
Something you can eat readily accessible. That's why Dom touched on overnight oats, something you can make 5 minutes the night before, throw it in the fridge.
Yeah.
And when you wake up in the morning, it's ready for you.
So what's one of the most what's one of the most popular things that some of the athletes say to us when they come in? We ask them what they ate. What do they say?
Nothing.
Nothing. They say,
Nothing.
I woke up late, so I didn't eat anything. So these are some ideas that athletes can just, like you said, keep it simple, and just wake up and grab and go. Yeah. So that's great. Anything else on breakfast?
I even think, don't even overthink it. Yeah. Protein shake, piece of fruit, grab a handful of nuts. Like at the end of the day, protein shakes are absolutely encouraged, especially with athletes. If anything, we like to say protein shakes is fast food for athletes. Like that's going to be super beneficial for you. And just make sure that we're getting what we need starting the day off.
Yeah. And just something that just came to mind here is, in addition to, we just talked about food, but a simple way to drink more water and improve your hydration is as soon as you wake up, have a glass of water, have a shaker bottle full, 8 to 12 ounces of water. That's like Coach John has said in the past, you're gonna play with the lead. And you're gonna set yourself up for success with your hydration and with your nutrition before you even leave your house. So you're going to be feeling good with hydration and food for fuel. You'll be ready to rock. So that's breakfast is probably one of the most important things. That's going to set you up for school. That's going to set you up for your performance on the field. So that's great. Now, let's talk pre-workout nutrition, pre-workout, pre-practice nutrition in that same little ballpark. So talk to me more about what you feel is the best for athletes as a pre-workout.
Yeah, for sure. Protein and carbohydrates, right? And to get kind of more specific, protein and simple carbohydrates, so stuff that's going to break down quick and be able to be used as fuel quick, right? So honestly, some really good options is protein shake banana, protein shake Rice Krispie treats, right? Stuff that we can convert into energy very quickly.
They're gonna love that one.
Which is awesome, for sure. Especially teenagers, they love Rice Krispie treats or whatever it is. But that's a great option. That's pre-workout and that's post-workout as well. So really good options, protein and fast carbohydrates, and that's it. Keeping fats, so think peanut butters, nut butters, or stuff that's super heavy in fats, seeds, out of the pre-workout and post-workout window because it's slow digesting. It's going to interfere with performance. It's gonna stay in the belly, which might give you a stomach ache while we're performing high intensity activity or strenuous workout or training sessions.
Yeah. Now, I got something that a lot of these viewers might have a question about,
Go ahead.
And it's caffeine and energy drinks.
I knew you were going there.
A lot of our older athletes, whether
with a bang.
you're in high school or college. These kids are coming in with Red Bull, Monster, Bang energy, and it's we tell them all the time, hey, you don't need this. You don't need these energy drinks in your life. What are your thoughts on caffeine?
Yeah.
I think it depends on how old the individual is first and foremost. And I think mild amounts of caffeine are appropriate.
Right.
But if we look at like, number one, I don't think carbonation prior to an intense training session or carbonation prior to practice working out is good. We don't want that in our belly.
Right.
But number two is like, these things are loaded with caffeine. Like some of them have 250 milligrams.
Oh, I'm talking like 350.
More.
Push it.
On the low end, 250.
Yeah, and that's like the max that they should have in a day.
For
Plus,
sure.
like 200 would be the max.
Over the top.
Yeah, way over the top.
I don't think it's necessary. I think it does more. It's more harmful than it is beneficial at the end of the day. Especially too, like if you look at training, it's high intensity activity. Like cortisol is getting jacked up. They are getting jacked up. We don't need something else to get us there.
Yeah.
Right. That's going to hinder recovery.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I think about it.
Okay. And going off that topic, I know a lot of our female athletes like to drink coffee.
Yeah.
So if energy drinks are fully loaded with carbonation, and Coach Dom obviously doesn't recommend you drink carbonation before a workout, what about coffee as a caffeine source before? Good idea, bad idea?
Indifferent. Go ahead.
Indifferent. Depending on it's. I mean, for athletes, I'm okay with it. Just the minimal amount. Like it's all a minimal amount. It's. Right, I drink coffee as a pre-workout now, but I didn't drink coffee as a pre-workout when I was in high school. So I was like, I took the supplement approach. But again, looking back at those supplements, like do your education on what the energy drink, what's in it. Like looking back, those ingredients probably weren't the best. And I mean, you guys need to do your homework on what you're actually consuming.
I would say
for long-term health too. So
no, just to kind of piggyback off that, I would say pre-workout, sure, but allow enough time. I wouldn't say like slam it coming in. Right. Just having a stomach ache, dehydration, like all these things are going to come in factor when it comes to drinking coffee. Also,
I have a story. So
what kind of coffee are we drinking? Is it like the dripper? Like the dripper coffee, it's gonna have less caffeine. Or are we talking like a nitro cold brew from Starbucks?
Which that's
also too like,
because girls are always coming in with Starbucks and everything, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's on the lower end of milligrams of caffeine, so it's maybe like 80. Like what's a standard coffee?
Oh, I mean,
so
this one right here is
80 to 100.
80, 80.
I would say pretty appropriate if you have a decent amount of time, maybe 30, 45 minutes prior to training. But slamming like a nitro cold brew on the way, warming up with the cold brew on the turf, right?
And we've had athletes come in and warm up with a bang or an energy drink right before, and then that didn't end well.
No.
They didn't have a
you know who you are.
productive workout. So
you know who you are.
Yeah. Did you want to tell your story?
Yeah, I mean, like talking caffeine. Like I don't think the first time I never liked coffee growing up as an athlete. The first time I drank a sip of coffee was probably. I mean, I had a sip maybe in high school, but like the first time I seriously started drinking coffee was not until after college. Like, I never realized
coffee for sure, but pre-workout supplements was definitely high school for me.
And it was the C4. The C4, they got the
Super Pump
individual.
Super Pump 250 was a big one.
Looking back, I would not have gone the supplement route of pre-workout.
And so it was back when I was in high school. It was my junior year of high school, and it was at Wheaton North, and it was hot. Okay, and me and my teammates, a couple of them, decided to take a couple what's it called? Red Bulls before a game.
A couple.
Before a game.
Couple apiece?
No, one. So, and again, we were uneducated and we didn't hydrate properly, even though the coaches told us to. I didn't finish the game. I got cramps because it was hot. I had an energy drink. And I didn't play the second half, and I hurt my team, and I never forget that game. And the coach Parpet, he probably definitely remembers that game, because of that situation. And ever since then, like I kind of was more smart about everything. So that's.
And imagine if that was like a very important game, like a playoff game or a state championship type game, and you get pulled because you got cramps.
Down in Red Bull.
That's the last thing you want to look back on, and you want to regret that decision.
Totally, that was great. Anything else on pre-workout?
No. So moral of the story, I would stay away from pre-workout.
Food. Use food. Food is fuel.
Fruit. Have the fruit. The antioxidants. Have that kind of stuff prior to. minimize caffeine intake.
And think of your body as a Ferrari. You got to fuel the Ferrari. You're not going to put unleaded fuel in a Ferrari. You're not going to go too far. You got to put, premium prime time fuel for your body. You're not going to be driving around a Honda Civic. You got to your body's a Ferrari. So now,
not to get off the tangent. Or off on a
keep
tangent,
going.
But that's what we do here at Hustle Talk. Sleep. Let's talk sleep for a second, because here's why. Like, if you are sleeping enough, we probably don't need as much caffeine to get us to the level that we need to perform at.
Yeah.
So I think it all kind of goes hand in hand, and it really, it's a full circle.
And like
get your sleep.
Yes.
We won't need as much caffeine. We won't even be tempted to use it.
100%. And to continue your tangent, so sleep is important. If you're taking caffeine at a 6 or 7 o'clock p.m.
100%.
7 p.m. workout,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to get quality sleep, and it's going to affect your next day, and it's going to be a vicious cycle. So just be smart about when you're consuming caffeine, if you're consuming caffeine.
But what about those people that say, "Oh, I go to sleep just fine"?
But
they have an
you think you go
espresso
fine.
at 6 p.m. You think you think you go to sleep just fine.
You're going to bed with an elevated heart rate.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, for real, that's what it is too. Your heart rate is elevated the entire time.
What's a good cutoff point for caffeine?
Man, I would recommend, honestly, the latest, noon.
Yeah.
Really?
The latest, yeah.
Even I have work to do on that.
And it's hard. I mean, for myself included, but noon the latest, if possible. I like that 11 a.m. mark. But here's the thing too, is like you have to be at a certain point aware of your body. Like Jonathan might be able to consume caffeine later than I can and do fine with it, right? Whereas I have to cut it off at 10 or 11 o'clock for me to actually get into a nice restful sleep at night. So
Cool. And I think the cutoff time varies. It varies
100%.
greatly depending on when you're working out, what time you're going to bed, what time you're getting up. All these different things go into it. I mean, your caffeine intake throughout the years, are you used to having more caffeine at a certain time?
Right.
When are you used to having that cutoff period? But I think for people that work out in the evening, like we have kids that come in here at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. at night, what would we say for caffeine intake? Then I'd say don't even bother.
Don't even have it.
Don't even bother.
Yeah.
If you're going to come in at 7 p.m., cut off your caffeine by
Jonathan
4,
knows what he's doing inside of the workouts. I've seen a lot of the workouts. There's central nervous system like preps inside of the warm-up, inside of the activation. Like, come in, be hydrated, eat good throughout the day, get sleep.
Yeah.
Once you get to that portion of the workout, like, you'll get ready.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Love
You'll
it.
get ready.
Have some quick carbs, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get it going. Speaking of quick carbs, post-workout nutrition.
Yeah.
We talk pre, now we're going to talk post. Now when athletes are training, when anybody's training, you're breaking down your muscles. You're not growing your muscles during your workout, believe it or not. You're breaking down your muscles. So your body will grow stronger and faster in the recovery process. So by focusing on post-workout nutrition, we are starting the recovery and growth process immediately after your workout. So after you train, your body needs nutrients, and having a solid post-workout snack or meal will help feed your system and help get you ready to improve. So now, post-workout, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what should we have? What's the main focus there?
Protein and carbs.
Yep.
Again, I think it's the easiest stuff we can get the quickest, right? Immediately after workout. When it comes to food sources, I love like a tuna and pasta option.
Ooh, yeah.
Tuna, it comes out of a can, comes out of a bag.
Mm-hmm.
If you prep your pasta, or if there's pre-made pasta leftovers, like you already have it there. Great salad option. Chicken, rice, protein shake, Rice Krispie treats. Like these are big ones, I'll even go as far to say as similar to along the lines of the protein shake and Rice Krispie treat, protein shake and cereal. So like a protein cereal option, which kids are going to love.
We were just talking about that.
Especially younger kids will love the cereal.
What about chocolate milk? What do you think about that?
Ooh.
Chocolate milk as the protein source?
Yeah.
Indifferent.
That's something that kids have asked as well. Okay.
I would say
It's got pros and cons.
it has pros and cons, 100%. If I wouldn't use that as the primary protein source. It could be in there for sure, right? But I wouldn't use that as the primary protein source. Like I wouldn't supplement chocolate milk instead of a protein shake.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Absolutely.
I'd agree.
Absolutely.
100%.
Anything else on that post-workout?
Yeah, I think we're going to talk more myths coming up in a little bit, but I think a big one, especially when I was younger playing in high school and college, was after your workout, you feel like you have to slam a protein shake right away.
Oh yeah,
It's
true,
like,
true.
People you're working out with are telling you, oh, you got to down it within 10 minutes of your workout, or else it doesn't matter.
Or else you lose your gains if it did. So that's been absolutely.
So,
what do you guys think about the timing part?
Oh, I think just getting your total protein in throughout the day is most important.
100%.
I don't really care about the time that you get it in, as long as you're getting it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Back to that something is better than nothing.
Right.
1,000%.
Right. At the end of the day, it's like, it's important. It becomes important, sure, but it's 3, 4, 5 on a list of ranked of importance. So, like Jonathan said, inside of the day, focus on your daily intake, not trying to hit certain windows. Like, I think that's old school bodybuilding myths.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're going after here.
Right.
Totally. I love that. So now we talked nutrition. We're gonna get back to nutrition, but right now I want to talk hydration. Hydration. So talk to me more about hydration. How much water should an athlete drink? Any other hydration tips you have for them?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
Go ahead.
So obviously water, right? Water is going to be super important. And if everyone asks how much water, something I like to use, I know everyone has a little bit of a different one, but it all kind of adds up to be the same thing at the end of the day, is taking your current body weight, dividing that by 2, and then adding 15 to that, okay? That's going to be like the fluid ounces that you should be taking in per day. So just very, very simple. Mine comes out to like roughly a gallon of water, right? So first and foremost, water, right? So we want to be minimizing pops, energy drinks, different juices. I would see even, piggybacking off the chocolate milk, let's minimize that stuff. What else do kids drink these days? Coffees,
pop.
Right, pop,
soda, whatever you want to call it.
So I would say, focusing more on water throughout the day. And something that we were talking about actually off air was bringing a water bottle to school. None of us have our nice ones laying around. This one. But even something like the ones that keep the beverage cold all day long.
Like a Yeti.
Like a Yeti, that's going to be worth the investment, hand over fist.
Totally.
And that's something that all athletes should keep with them at all times.
Yeah. I'd agree with everything you had to say. I mean,
so
hydration is, I'd say, the X factor right after nutrition.
Especially in the summer.
They go together.
Energy levels will be drastically improved by just drinking more water. And half the time, athletes don't drink enough. And
even
speaking of summertime,
but your ability, to piggyback off that was a good point. Energy levels, your ability to think clearly, right? Like, we have to make game time decisions depending on what sport you play. If we're dehydrated, you're not thinking as fast. You're not as clear.
Yeah.
Even the cognitive function of your brain is important for school.
100%.
How are you supposed to study, and how are you supposed to do your best on tests and group projects when you're not thinking clearly? So
especially if you're in there and you're a talker like I was in school. We gotta be drinking water.
And that's another thing that athletes, we've noticed that they're not drinking nearly enough water. And 95% of the athletes that come through here, when they start up, they're not drinking enough water and they're not eating enough food.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of changing over time. Is the longer they're with us, the better they're becoming with water. Because now kids are bringing huge jugs in here and water bottles, and
they're definitely getting educated.
They're learning about it, But going back to the cognitive functions, every basic function that our body performs starts with hydration. It's like your metabolism, your hunger, your brain function. We talked about that. Everything starts.
Are you hungry or thirsty?
Right. No, 100%.
More than 70% of your body is water.
Yep. You just posted that. I just saw that. You said that.
There you go.
100%. That's spot on. It's super important. Hydration though, beyond water, like Gatorades or these sports drinks. What are your thoughts on them? How do you feel about all these different sports drinks?
I think they have a time and a place.
Yeah.
I think Gatorades can be important, especially when we're in a game or when we're in season. Let's say it's 90 degrees outside and we're on the soccer field or the football field and it's mid-game. Sometimes you need some extra carbohydrates, some extra electrolytes in your system to keep you fully hydrated. There is a such thing as overhydration. There's when you drink too much water, there's a point in time when it becomes detrimental to your performance. So supplementing with sodium even in your water.
There you go, yeah.
Sprinkling a little bit of like sea salt in your water.
Yeah.
Will do big things for your performance.
Notice how he said sea salt, right?
Not Morton salt?
No, not your average table salt at like at the diner. You go to what's it called, Denny's. Like we're not talking go to Denny's.
Drop that Denny's.
Take the salt off the table, put it in the water. We're talking like sea salt, pink Himalayan sea salt to be more specific.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's gonna be the stuff that we're talking about when it comes to sodium.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hacks, I do this in the morning, is I put lemon water with the pink Himalayan sea salt in there. That's something you could do if you want.
Meathead lemonade.
Oh yeah, that's
There you go.
so the
There you
Meathead
go.
lemonade. Shout out Joe D if you want to tell him.
I think you got to touch on that.
So, yeah.
You got
Go
people
ahead,
wondering.
take it. You
Go
mentioned
ahead.
it.
That's you.
Got
people wondering.
So the Meathead lemonade, right? It's super simple, actually super cost effective. All you do, 24 ounces of water, 12 ounces of water, whatever it is, but you cut up some lemons, take some lemons, squirt it in, drop them in, and then you just do like a pinch, not a punch, a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt, right? You mix that in. Honestly, you could sip that throughout the day, right? If you have a tough practice, it's summer, whatever it is, you're sweating. We're losing sodium through our sweat. Like you should be sipping on that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much lemons cost, but under $5 for sure.
for like
you go
6 of them, I think.
right for 6 of them. You go to I don't even know BP down the street at the gas station. What are they running? $5 a Gatorade. Maybe you get lucky and you get a 2 for $5.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking 6 lemons
Pricey.
and let's also talk about how much sea salt you get too.
Yeah.
$3-4. Man, you're getting maybe a year's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's underrated big time.
Very underrated. The value is top notch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a great tip right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of tips, meal prep tips for athletes. Meal prep tips. So now, what would you give? What kind of tips would you give an athlete that that needs to prepare some meals ahead of time?
I think especially for athletes that are always on the go and don't have a whole lot of time to commit to their meal prep or their nutrition is, we talked about it earlier with breakfast, is like make it the day before.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
overnight oats takes
Prepare.
5 minutes to make the day before, and that could be easily 40 to 50 grams of protein right there in the morning. It takes
multiple overnight
Yeah,
oats
good
though.
call.
Like,
I
not
was gonna
just
say.
one batch.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
make it
multiple
for the week.
What day?
100%.
What day would you prepare your meals if you're an athlete?
Sunday night,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that Sunday night you could prepare, maybe the next 3 days of overnight oats
Easily.
and then on Wednesday you can make
Do it
the
again.
next 2 or next 3,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So
While
I
you're
mean,
watching Sunday Night Football in between commercials, whatever
Boom.
it is,
Yeah.
Boom.
you can knock out 3-4 easy.
Yeah.
Another thing that came to mind is don't leave the house empty-handed. Bring water with you, and again, bring
Yeah.
snacks, bring a meal with you, especially if you're going to know how long you're going to be gone for.
On the go options.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what are some on the go options that you could bring? I have, so for example, like fruit, apple, almonds, protein shakes, a tuna sandwich, like you said,
Tuna
Protein bars.
protein bars,
Jerky.
beef.
Big
I
on the
love it.
jerky.
So beef jerky, piece of fruit, nuts. One of my favorites, peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwich
Oh, yeah.
with the protein shake.
Yeah.
And again, if you know how long you're going to be gone for, some Greek yogurt. My favorite one is Siggy's.
There you go,
Siggy's.
There you go.
Again, some fruit and nuts, stuff like
100%.
that.
And if you're local to the area, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip right now. Right off of, what is that, 53 and North Ave. Is that a Shell, that gas station?
Buc-ee's or Shell?
No,
I think
it's
it's Shell.
Shell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They always have big drums of 50 cents items. So I got 3
man.
big giant bags of beef jerky.
Really?
$1.50.
We're local and we don't even know this.
$1.50.
Well, yeah.
So if you're local, you live in the area,
And
go
even
check it out.
Even at gas stations, like you just said, like you're
100%.
on the go. You can stop. I go to the 7-Eleven
Easy.
down the street. Cheese stick.
Cheese
Must-
stick.
Yeah, cheese stick, beef jerky,
Nuts.
nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
They always have fruit.
Yeah, and
Always
fruit.
protein bars.
They always have protein bars.
Always. They have protein shakes.
Yeah.
The Fairlife, they got Fairlife, they got the Muscle Milks. Like, we live in a world where if you know what to look for, right? And if you watch this video, you will. It's convenience. It's always there. You just got to look a little bit.
It's about making a smart choice too, because
100%.
convenience is all over. You can stop at McDonald's for convenience, or you could stop at the gas station, like Dom just said, and
Funny, they're right across the street from each other.
yeah, and
So-
make a choice based off of you and the way and your goals.
Yeah.
We could talk about that at a different podcast.
And a tip I'd give you guys would be take your phone out right now in the notes app. Write down all these suggestions that we're giving you.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
so you remember what to look for next time you're at the gas station or looking for
before
snacks.
they open their phone to scroll TikTok.
Yes.
Peep your notes tab.
There you go.
Check out Hustle Talk.
Eating, subscribe, like and subscribe and share. But eating for performance. Let's talk supplements. Let's talk supplements right now. Would you recommend supplements for athletes? What do you recommend? Because we talk caffeine, which is it's a supplement.
Correct.
Let's go a little bit more in depth on that.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I think there's like an essential list where what I mean by that is anybody and everybody, athletes, adults, whoever it is, they could take them, they're going to be safe, and they will probably see performance benefits from them. Most for sure will. And that's going to be vitamin D, vitamin C, magnesium, and I miss fish oil, and fish oil, right? Those are going to be like the big guns where you can't go wrong by taking them. They're going to enhance performance and your recovery. And then protein shakes, I would also put in there as an essential / recommended because fast food for athletes.
Yeah.
Now there's way more that we can get into. What is your take on it though? I want to hear your take.
I'd agree with your essential list, like the vitamins and the fish oil and
Right.
the protein. One that I would throw in,
Yeah.
probably the most researched supplement of all time,
Say it.
creatine.
100%.
We
Yeah.
get that question probably all the time. It's probably the most questioned thing about supplements is creatine safe for my athlete or is creatine safe for me?
Yes.
And I'd say yes, absolutely. Creatine is good for you. I'd say it starts at a certain age though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Our youth athletes absolutely don't need to be taking creatine. You can get creatine just from your normal diet.
Yeah.
But when you get more serious about your training and your performance, when you get to high school or college, creatine can be something that can definitely help you with power and strength and speed and take your performance to give you that little extra edge.
I would say that's outside the vitamins and the minerals, that has to be the first one that you should reach for. And there's crazy supplements on the market these days.
There's
Everything that promises to get you swole, fast, powerful. It's a lot of hocus pocus at the end of the day, But creatine, for sure, like he said, the number one most researched supplement, super safe, super effective. I want to take it a step further and say creatine monohydrate.
Yes.
Because there's like there's a ton more.
Micronized.
Yeah, there's a few different ones, but creatine monohydrate, it's the tried and true. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the one that you want to go
Still
with.
take 5 grams a day.
100%. Yeah. I mean, no, absolutely. 5 grams a day. There's so many different ways to take it. That's what I do too. 5 grams a day. That's the most beneficial for me. Yeah. Do you guys do pill, powder?
Powder. I throw it in my shake.
Unflavored.
Yeah.
Unflavored.
Yeah. I throw it in my shake and just
For
drink
sure.
it. That's I'm happy you mentioned that. That's because a lot of kids do have that question.
Go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
So creatine, especially very, very important, but going to something that's not so important, something that our athletes ask about all the time, especially athletes that want to gain weight or gain muscle or gain size, mass gainer, or I think that one is very, very much unnecessary and something that you do not want to be drinking.
No.
What's your guys' take on that?
So, go ahead.
It's, at the end of the day, like just eat bigger portions.
Yeah.
Eat bigger portions of carbohydrates and calories in general. Like you don't need to be buying mass gainer that's loaded with just more carbohydrates, but also too like fillers, preservatives, right? That's where we're really going to take a hit, and that's going to be detrimental to health. Might actually increase inflammation depending on what's in them.
Affect performance.
100%. You go to Walmart, I mean, it's cost effective, sure, but what is it loaded with?
You don't even know.
My recommendation is just eat bigger portions of carbohydrates and food in general.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And other than the essential list, including the creatine, I'm going to throw that in there. Other than those, like getting into the serious mass and all that, the mass gainers and stuff like that, supplements are supplements for a reason because they are made to supplement what you're already eating in addition to your essential vitamins. So you got to keep that in mind that they're called supplements because you guys, if you need to put your nutrition and your hydration first, and then if and when you need it, the supplements will be there to help you. So that was great.
How do we feel about BCAAs?
I
It's
think
like watering your grass in a rainstorm.
yeah. I mean,
what
I think
that's like.
we can
Waste
get.
of
I think
money.
you get enough of that from the nutrition from your
Yeah.
daily eating and stuff like that. I think it's
If you
not,
are-
definitely not necessary.
If you're getting enough food in, right, calorie-wise, if we're consuming enough protein,
Carb.
carbs, right, if we're getting the nutrients in and
Yeah.
enough of it, it's not really necessary. Yeah, that's my take
Love
on
it.
it. But I know it's a big one. It's a popular one. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on to now. Let's give these athletes a sample plan. Okay. So a sample plan. I'm gonna go through it, and then we'll. This is like a sample day of you at school. Like you have it's a school day. You got practice after school. So we're gonna talk. So you're gonna wake up and you're gonna have breakfast. So breakfast. What are some examples like we went over? But I want some like give one example for a kid right now.
honestly, my go-to is the overnight oats.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like that's what I have been eating for breakfast
Yeah.
every single day for the past 2 weeks right now.
That's it.
I pretty much will keep 2 breakfasts on hand, and it's either an overnight oats or smoothies, which is essentially the same thing. It works, it's quick, it's fast, and guess what? You can take it on the go, just like we talked about earlier.
And overnight oats is something that you can just change the flavor of like
Yeah.
that. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you're not eating the same bland thing every morning.
100%.
Toss in a different ingredient.
You can
100%.
change the fruit. You can add a little honey to give it more sweet. You can
Yeah.
change the protein. You know, you can
Yeah.
do all these different things so you're not repetitively eating the same thing.
Yep, absolutely.
So you're going breakfast. You wake up. You go to school. It's mid-morning snack time. What could an athlete bring to school? Like we talked a little bit about that.
Have you had fruit yet?
Yeah.
If you haven't, I would suggest a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a bad option. Protein shake.
Yeah.
Nuts, seeds, right? At the end of the day, we want to stay whole foods, nutrient dense food,
Love
stuff that's going to have a high return on investment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lunch.
Lunch. So now it's mid-morning. You had a mid-morning snack, and it's
Yeah.
lunchtime.
Don't
rolls
get the
around.
fast food at school.
You going? You
No
going?
cheeseburgers.
You going into your school lunch line? I have kids coming. Like the kids come in, they have their pizza, their chicken
Yeah.
nuggets. The kid had somebody came in. He said he had 3 chicken nuggets. He's a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
So what are you eating for lunch?
Have mom and dad pack your lunch. Or if you're in high school, pack your own lunch.
Yeah.
You know,
Tuna sandwich, man.
tuna sandwich, 100%.
It goes back to easily accessible and ready
Yeah.
to go. Like you can even take the can to school with
They
you if
even
you wanted to.
make
bag.
make tuna packets
Yeah,
with,
they do.
and they
Rip it.
come and you rip it and there's a spoon in there.
Man.
So
Yeah.
Convenience. Look at this.
Convenience.
I
It's
didn't
never
have
been
that.
easier.
Right.
It's
So-
never been
100%.
easier.
there you go. So that's lunch. So lunchtime rolls around. You're done with lunch. Mid-afternoon snack. Now, mid-afternoon snack. This could also qualify as a pre-practice,
Yeah.
a pre-practice snack or a pre-workout snack, which we already talked about. So what would you have for that?
I would say it's very similar to what the morning snack was. Now, obviously, if we look at it like from a pre-workout snack or a pre-practice snack, depending on how far away practice is, like if you have a few hours, I would make it balanced.
Yeah.
So like have a protein, have a carbohydrate, have some fat, make it balanced. If you have practice after school, like you have to change, hit the locker rooms and you have practice right away, you know, within an hour, I would keep it protein and carbohydrates, right?
Yep.
Going back to what I said earlier, we don't want fats and a decent amount of it too close to a training or like a practice window because of like the slow digesting nature of it. So protein and carbs, if you have or if you're short on time before practice.
Love
There you go. Bingo.
Yeah, there you go. So mid-afternoon snack, pre-workout snack, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You go to your practice, you go to your workout, super intense, and you go home and it's dinner time. It's dinner time. What should they have for dinner? Should they stop at McDonald's on the way home?
BK's running 2-for-1 special.
BK,
on
yeah.
Whoppers
So,
right now.
so
man.
what's dinner time?
Dinner, I mean, you know, again, balance. Like this meal should be balanced. Steak, potatoes,
Yeah.
maybe you get some veggies on the plate. Maybe dress up the veggies in olive oil.
Yeah.
Maybe mom's making pasta, right? Have something that is balanced. We got carbs, we have a quality protein source, we have a quality fat source like omega-3 stuff that's gonna fight inflammation. Those are gonna be super beneficial for you.
Yeah, I think especially at this age, when these kids are going home, they're not going to be,
Right.
oh, Mom, I need to
Yeah.
cook dinner for myself. Coach Dom says I need to eat protein more. Obviously, eat what your mom or dad is cooking for you,
Yeah.
but maybe have the mention of, hey, I think I need a little bit more protein in my diet to enhance
100%.
my performance or to help me reach my goals. And I think your
100%.
parents will be 100% ready to help you out and do that for you. You know, it's like,
and it takes a village to do this stuff, guys. And I know you can't do this alone, and you need to lean on your parents for this, especially with the meals and the nutrition aspect of things. So
having clear communication is big there.
And understand they need to understand your goals and how much what you need to do to accomplish those goals. So that's great. So dinner time now. You sit down, do some homework before you go to bed.
One thing before we go. Yeah. The beautiful thing about like what we're talking about right now, yes, this is tailored for athletes, but parents who are preparing this food for their athlete children, it's gonna benefit the parents as well, right? So like, yes, we are improving the performance of the athlete in the house, yourself, right? But also the parents are reaping the rewards as well. Yeah. So we're really changing. It's generational at that point.
Changing households.
Yeah, and it's powerful stuff. So
a lot of what we're talking about goes for athletes and adults.
100%.
It's not specific to just athletes here.
100%.
1,000%. I mean, athletes that have changed their nutrition habits, their moms and dads have seen results as well. But again, it goes the other way. There's adults in our program that have changed their eating habits and seen amazing results, and that carryover has dripped down to the kids
who are in the youth program here, right?
Who are in the youth program.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of examples around. Yep. So that's a great topic right there. So now it's dinner time is over. Sitting down doing homework. What should they have as a snack after that?
Love the protein shake at night. I have a sweet tooth. That's what I like. Extra protein can't hurt.
Love it.
Something that I've been doing for sweet tooth. I'm also a big sweet tooth guy. So I take like 100 grams of Greek yogurt and take the scoop of protein and mix it in. You have like a
Siggy's.
That's my go-to. So I love that.
You
put the
Greek treat.
Greek yogurt in there, some honey, some blueberries.
There
If you need some protein, throw a protein scoop in there, mix it up.
Yeah.
If you really have a sweet tooth, put one serving. I'm only looking at you. One serving of chocolate chips on top.
Yeah.
Coconut flakes.
Man, this is an entire meal. This is not a snack. This is an entire meal. But it's great. No, seriously, this is great. Yeah.
So that's something great. Again, it's depending on your goals.
That maybe takes you, again, 5 minutes. That could be a great breakfast source for you as well. So we were talking about quick breakfast options. The yogurt bowl option, phenomenal choice.
Yeah. Double it up, have half before you go to bed, half in the morning.
There you go.
Amazing. So you can put it in the fridge, and then when you wake up, look at that. It's already made. That's a great tip right there. So guys, this was great. Before we go, there's actually one more question. What are the biggest nutrition misconceptions with athletes?
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's a big one.
So, biggest nutrition misconceptions. One thing that comes to mind just to get the conversation going, when athlete says, peanut butter is protein. So, peanut butter is protein. Peanut butter is not protein. It's dominant. It is fat.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's how we have to look at it, right? Like at the end of the day, does it have protein in it? Yeah, absolutely. But is it a primary protein source? No. It's a primary fat source, right? So it's not. I don't recommend having 5-6 spoonfuls of peanut butter per day. Not to mention, like, it's not going to be very beneficial for performance, right? Body composition change, like fat's going to come with that, like actually gaining fat is going to come from that. And just not going after what we want to go after, which is prioritizing protein and carbohydrates around training windows, around training sessions. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I think the other part of that is like, don't think that fat is bad in your nutrition.
100%.
Like as an athlete, a lot of us think that when we need to lose weight, we need to neglect fat and take fat away from our diet. But really, fat is essential for your performance. It's like something that will give you that long-lasting energy, something that will be essential for your organs and all this kind of different benefits. You know?
It's central nervous system stuff, right? Like, and a lot of sports are very central nervous system demanding.
Yeah.
So it's like we talk a lot about protein and carbs in here, and that's for performance, like to fuel that around the training session or around the workout itself or the practice itself. But like your ability to recover from a central nervous standpoint is going to be fueled and dictated by fats, right? If that doesn't happen, like just feelings of lethargy are going to set in. We're going to be tired. We're not going to be able to perform as explosive. So it's like fat is super important. Fat sources that you're choosing though, like it needs to be stressed, right? Omega-3s, 100% omega-3. So fatty fish, olive oil, nuts, seeds, eggs. Like, yeah, I mean, those are going to be the sources that we want to prioritize. Again, going back to the nutrient-dense foods.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. One more.
For sure.
One more.
Let's hear it.
Go ahead. Touch on I think you're gonna go with it.
Cool. I think the biggest one is fueling for like aesthetic purposes. And what I mean by that is like chasing a six-pack or chasing to be super lean or look like maybe a guy or a girl on Men's Health magazine or Women's Health magazine. Like seriously, right? Like trying to be super lean. When in fact, like that is something entirely different than in performance. Like we need to be fueling for performance. That's number one priority. So that's going to come with an entirely different approach to nutrition and to eating.
Yeah. What I always say is train for performance. Your aesthetics will come as a byproduct of
Yeah,
that.
100%.
You look at the best athletes in the world, most of them are in remarkable shape. They all look incredible because they train for performance and they take care of their nutrition.
100%. That's a great point right
Yeah.
there. Now that's also a great point to bring it home with. Now this was a phenomenal podcast, guys. I hope you guys all got tremendous value out of this. Coach Dom, thanks for being here.
Appreciate
Coach
you having
Jonathan,
me.
thanks for being
Appreciate
here.
it.
You'll be seeing more of
for
us in the
sure.
future. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, thanks for hustling.
Peace.
Peace.